Okay, wait, y'all, because I got to get my finger right before I start. So how you do it? Okay, so do y'all like y'all tea cold or do you like it hot? Because I got both and I'm about to spill it. Just kidding. Hello, 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 all my beautiful planty people. My name is Chula. Welcome to my channel, Hooked on Houseplants. I am so happy to be back with y'all. I know it has been a minute. A lot has been going on. Y'all, my houseplant collection has taken a big hit. Okay, I know I've been talking about wanting to downsize, but my collection downsized itself. Okay, there's been a lot of casualties, a lot of fatalities, and some of them like really hurt because some of them were, you know, plants that I really loved. But I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna start first with the cold tea. Okay, so I'm gonna start first with my Begonia collection. I think it was just a month ago that I said in a previous video, I believe it was an updates video, and I was just saying how very proud of myself that I was because all of my begonia were still alive and thriving. I kid you not, I think maybe 2 weeks after I said that, after I made that video, I'm gonna show you in a minute, but first I gotta tell you what happened. Okay. So what happened was I was going through my collection as I always do, looking for pests or anything else. Lo and behold, on one of my begonia, what did I find? A mealybug. Okay, so y'all already know I'm not about to be about that mealybug life. I don't want to be part of that life, okay? If y'all want to, that's y'all business, but me, I'm not trying to do that. So I saw this mealybug and yes, I flipped the script. Okay, I went crazy. And this is one thing that I want to say right off. Okay, I understand, because I know y'all thinking, you're going to get pests. You're going to get pests. That's just part of owning plants, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I totally understand that 100%, okay? I know that pests are sometimes inevitable, or they are inevitable. But that doesn't mean that I have to sit back and just accept it. You know, if I see some pests on my plants, I take immediate action. I don't play around, especially not with no mealybugs, because like I've said before, I have seen whole collections. I have seen some of y'all who y'all's collections have just been overtaken by mealybugs, and I don't want that to happen. So I went a little bit ballistic, I will admit, and I paid the price, okay? I'm just gonna say that up front. So when I saw the mealybug on one of my begonia, I panicked and I proceeded to get my container of bonide granules, okay? And I added them to every single begonia in my collection, okay? With the exception of my looking glass begonia, because that one has been in water. I'll say within a day or two, did you say my begonia was like, and they just started dropping leaves, they was just, I mean, just left and right. Leaves were melting. Leaves were turning black on the edges, and the blackness was just kind of creeping up the leaf. Some of the leaves just fell completely off. Okay, so obviously I don't feel like I added too much, but I just feel like maybe begonia might be too sensitive for bonide granules. And I will admit that I did not check the container and see. So that was my fault. And I still haven't checked. But anyway, y'all, my begonia just did not respond well to that particular treatment. So what did I do? I started snatching all of my begonia out of the soil that it was in. And I said, well, maybe if I put them in fresh soil, they will recover. That was my thinking process. No, they did not recover. They continue to go downhill. Because what happens with the granules is like once you water the plant starts to absorb and uptake whatever is in those granules. So yeah, they just continue to go downhill. So what I did, I was able to save the majority, but I did lose some. I want to say I lost about 4. So what I did was I just took cuttings. I took cuttings and I put them in water, and I'm gonna see which ones survive. Now there are 2 that did not go downhill with the treatment, and that is my Thurstonii and the Black Magic. So I'm about to get up and show y'all what's left of my begonia collection. Okay, y'all, so this is the shelf where all but one of my begonia are. This one I have put in a glass jar because I feel like it needed more humidity because it just kept crisping up. And y'all, I found this nice glass jar. Do y'all see how nice that glass jar is? And it's big. I got that for like $2.75 at the thrift store. So yeah, I got a begonia in there. And I have this one, which I cannot believe is still alive. And I did not treat this one because it's been in this glass container, so I felt like it wasn't exposed to the mealybugs. So yeah, these are the ones that I treated. And as you can see, they're in water. Some of them have already started to root up. And this one even has a flower. Got the nerve to have a flower, but I guess that's a good thing. And then I took cuttings of this one and my Sinbad, which also have some flowers. My Catherine, my beloved Catherine, but look, she is giving me a new leaf. And then this one, my Looking Glass, which has been in water for the longest because anytime I try to move her to a different substrate, she just acts a fool. This is my Brevimosa, or Breviremosa, and this one's doing good. You can see she is rooting up very nicely. And look at my Crackling Rosie, y'all. This was one of my favorites, and she just, look at this. You see the damage? This is what I was talking about. Some of the damage on the leaves, look. So I hope she makes it, y'all. This is one that I would definitely repurchase if she didn't. And this is what's left of my Maculata. And you know, I said it was only two, but it was actually three that didn't go downhill. This is one of them. I don't know what type of begonia this is, but y'all, this thing is resilient. I am so surprised that this thing is still alive. It has been underwatered. This is one of the ones that I also treated with the bonite granules, and this begonia said, I'm trying to live. So yeah. And then here's the Black Magic one that is doing well still. And then here is the Thurstonii. That's still doing well, even putting out new leaves. So yeah, I have one more begonia that has never given me problems, and that is my beefsteak begonia, which I will show at another time because I do plan on doing an end of the year houseplant tour. So yeah, y'all, that is what's left of my begonia collection. So y'all, the moral of the story is, yes, pests will occur, but don't go ballistic like I did. Yes, I'm not going to change the fact that, you know, I believe immediate action should be taken. But thinking about it, because I already know how sensitive begonia can be, I knew that, but I acted without thinking. I did not do my research, so that's why I lost a lot of my begonia. What I probably should have done was just remove that particular mealybug from that particular begonia and just monitor them, you know, to see if any more appeared. That's what I should have done, but I wasn't thinking. So it's always good before you act in situations like these to do your research and yeah. Okay, so that is the cold tea. So are y'all ready for some hot tea? Okay. Y'all, my Alocasia collection, I think, took the biggest hit out of everything. What I'm about to say is it may be, I don't know, a little controversial, but I'm gonna start off by saying, please do not jump on every bandwagon that comes along. I repeat, don't jump on every bandwagon that comes along, okay? That goes for myself too. Okay, I'm saying that because a couple of months ago, all y'all heard me talking about was Pon. How wonderful Pon is. It's just, oh my goodness, my plants are just doing so well in Pon, blah, blah, blah. And they were. They were. Okay. So I'm going to insert some pictures. To be honest, I don't really remember what I took pictures of, but I'm going to show you pictures of some of my Alocasia that took a hit. Okay, so this is what I believe happened. About 2 weeks ago, the weather here in Georgia, I think the low, some nights were in the 20s. Now, I have heaters out here. I've showed you the heaters that I have. The patio is winterized, and so usually the temperature does not drop below 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So I believe that this particular night, it may have gotten down to like 64. Excuse me. So you're also aware, if you've been watching my channel, that I had several, not just alocasia, but other plants in pond, as well as no drainage. Okay, and I believe that that's what did it for me. I came out the next morning, y'all, and some of my alocasia was like this. I was like, oh my goodness. Like I said, I'm gonna insert some pictures. So the first one that bit the dust hard was my Superba, my Alocasia Superba. She was just flopped over and browning. And the day before, she was fine. So I took her out of the soil and she was rotting. She was rotted, okay? So then the next one, and y'all, this one just really, really hurt me. Cause y'all know my favorite alocasia was my Chantrarii. Y'all, she is no more. I lost her. And I was so upset about that. But I'm gonna get another one. I'm gonna wait till spring before I get another one. Because last winter, I did not have any alocasia except for one, and that was my Ninja. And it did fine during the winter time. But I think the ones that took the biggest hit were the ones that were in pond and no drainage. My theory is that maybe the water got too cold and they began to rot. I really do not know what happened. That is the only thing that I have been able to come up with. Please let me know down in the comments, what do y'all think because that was the only thing. I cannot think of anything else that would have made them go downhill so rapidly. Or they could have been in the process of already rotting, and then the temperature dropping to 64 maybe just put the nail on the coffin. I don't know. But my Chantrarii, my Superba, that's all I can think of right offhand. It seemed like there was another one that I lost, but yeah. So I started taking I just went crazy, y'all. And this is why y'all ain't seen me, because when I tell you I do not want to see another piece of pond, another bag of potting soil, because for the last couple of weeks, y'all, I have been repotting, and I just do not. Oh my goodness. So I started taking all of my plants that were in pond, no drainage, out, and I started checking the roots. Oh, another one that took a big hit is my Alocasia, oh gosh, Mitsalitziana variegated. I'm gonna insert some pictures. The majority of the roots on this plant, y'all, were rotten. So I would say 90% of my plants that were in pond, no drainage, were either rotted or in the process of rotting. And when I tell y'all that the smell was horrendous out here, because y'all know, you already know what rot smells like. It's horrible. It smells like rotten eggs and some other stuff. And I just was dealing with all of that. And I'm not gonna lie, it was very overwhelming, because I was taking all of these plants out of pond. Now, I did leave some of my Alocasia in pond, but they are in self-watering containers, and they were fine. They didn't have any damage. they continue to do fine. Now, if you remember, I put my Luxurians, Radicans, Anthurium, as well as my Silver Blush. I put both of those in pond. They were in pond, no drainage, as well as my Monstera Flame and my Philodendron Spiritus Sancti. They were all in pond, no drainage. I took all of them out of that setup and I put them back into a chunky aeroid mix. Okay, so they seem to be fine so far. Towards the end of the video, I'll just kind of show y'all what they're looking like. But yeah, so that is what I have been dealing with over the last couple of weeks. Now, this is what I want to say, that some people may not like it, but sometimes when we discover something and it works well for us, we get very excited and we want to tell everybody about it. And a lot of times we come across as, yes, this is the best thing, this is what you should do, this is wonderful because this is what worked for me. And that could be totally true. It could have been something that worked very well for you. And there's nothing wrong with talking about it, but we just need to be careful. Like if you have only been doing something for a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, you might want to wait a little bit longer, you know, until you've been doing it. I would say at least 6 months to a year. I would even say a year before you start, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, this is, because there's a lot of people out there who are learning and they're new plant parents. And so if they hear you talking about this wonderful thing that you're doing with your plants, they want their plants to thrive too, like yours, like you claim that yours are doing. So a lot of them, without doing research, will jump on that bandwagon. And I have done that. I have been guilty of that. I have been guilty of that when it comes to pine. Now, I still love pine, okay? I still have a lot of my plants in pine, but I will no longer put them in no drainage, as well as, and this is a big one, but this is all my fault because I didn't do the research. I was taking perfectly healthy plants that were fine in soil or in the substrate they were in and putting them in pine just because I thought that pine was just like this miracle substrate. And a lot of them tanked because they didn't have water roots. They have been growing in soil. So I snatched them up out of soil without no type of transitioning and just put them in pine. So, and some were okay. I'll say like 2 or 3 did okay with that method, but the majority of them suffered and are suffering. So, you know, just be very careful, those who are learning. Do your research. Just because somebody says something is great, it might be great for them and their houseplants and their environment. Because I'm pretty certain, I kind of feel like if my plants were inside of my house, those plants that were in no drainage, in pond, no drainage, they probably would still be okay. But you know, when you got your plants on a patio, even though you might try to winterize it, there's still drafts. You know, a lot of plants cannot deal with drafts. They don't like cold drafts. So on top of that, you got them in pond, no drainage, and they're sitting in a reservoir. I cannot stand that word, of water. I mean, for some plants, that could be a recipe for disaster. Okay? So do your research, please. Do not just jump on a bandwagon because somebody is saying that it's great for them. As a matter of fact, my Monstera Thai constellation was rotting, and that was in a self-watering container in an aeroid mix. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. So I had to cut back a lot of the roots, as well as my smaller albo, my Monstera albo. That one was rotting as well. I'm telling y'all, when it rains, it pours. My collection took a really, really big hit with this weather change. So right now, both of them are in water and they are inside of my house because I don't want to take the risk of keeping them out here in water and then them starting to rot again. So they're inside my house. You'll see them on a different occasion. So yeah, it just has been a lot going on. So I wanted to say something else. Oh, this is what I want to say. We also want to be careful about making sweeping statements. And what I mean by that is, okay, so your substrate of choice might be leca. Your substrate of choice might be pon. It could be a perlite mix, a sphagnum mix, whatever. But avoid saying things like, oh yeah, no, soil is just nasty, it's just this, it's just that, or this particular substrate is, oh my gosh, it's just horrible. You know, last time I checked, now correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Last time I checked, in nature, what do plants grow in? What do they grow in? Is it not soil? Is it soil? Earth? Whatever? Loam? Whatever you want to call it. Is that not what they grow in? If you want to go check, I'll wait. What did you find when you went outside and saw these trees and these bushes? And are they not growing in soil? Now, yes, of course, the conditions are different because we have our houseplants in containers. And in nature, things are not in containers. They grow freely. But the point is, they grow in soil, okay? That's what plants grow in. So to make statements like soil is nasty, it's this, oh, the gnats and this and that, guess what? I had gnats and a lot of my plants are in a pond. Sometimes when I would check on them, there would be gnats coming up out the pond. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought I wasn't supposed to be getting fungus gnats with pond. So we just want to be careful the things that we say. And yes, not all potting soil is created equal. I will say that. There are some lower quality potting soils that can get, compacted and could cause problems if you don't add some amendments like perlite, bark, whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say is to each his own. Do what is working for you. And if it's working, like, leave it alone. Like, that is something that I struggle with because, of course, as plant parents, we want to progress. We want to improve our methods of taking care of our plants. And sometimes when we see other YouTubers that have plant channels and they're like, oh, this is great, my plants are thriving. Yeah, it's going to be a temptation to want to try it because you want your plants to thrive. And if that's what you want to do, that is fine. But just do your research first. Because I'm telling you, what works for one does not work for all. I am living proof because I have been going through it for the last 2 weeks with these plants because of jumping on bandwagons, not doing my research, and just doing silly things. So anyway, y'all, I don't want to end this video on a negative note, but yeah, that is where I have been for the last couple of weeks. Like I said, to close out the year, I would like to do a houseplant tour so you can see all the changes that have taken place in my collection. Besides some of the losses that I've had of plants that were my favorite, though, I'm feeling pretty good though, because my space is less congested. I feel like my collection is more manageable at this point because I have a whole lot less plants. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now, there are some plants that I would like to replace because I don't know if I've already said this, but I think I lost about 20 plants, and I was able to sell some plants and give some. So yeah, my collection looks a lot different. So anyway, if you have made it this far, thank you so much for being patient with me and supporting my channel. Please let me know down in the comments if any of y'all have been going through it lately with your plant collections. What's been going on? What have you done to remedy the situation? But yeah, just do what works for you. And if you're gonna try something different, which nothing is wrong with that, because sometimes it's good to make changes, because making changes sometimes can be changes for the better. But at the same time, do your research, because the grass is not always greener on the other side, okay? All right, so y'all take care. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to my channel, like and share. And if you want to see more planty content, feel free to check me out on Instagram. Okay? All right, y'all. Be good, stay safe, and as always, hooked on houseplants, y'all.